Hello and welcome traders. Today we're going to take a look at the Primalist. The Primalist is pretty much the basic in touch with nature class that features the masteries Beastmaster, Shaman and Druid. So the Primalist base class has passives like Primal Strength giving you more strength, Natural Attunement giving you more attunement, Gifted Wilderness giving you more health, as well as your minions more health. So you can really see the three basically themes of the Primalist right away here at the first line of passives that you can get. Strength based, attunement based caster, strength based more like melee, as well as minion based. You can also dual wield here with Harmony of Blades already, and then get more melee damage and more leech, for example, in Survival of the Pack, or more spell damage and minion damage in Wisdom of the Wild. Then of course Primal Medicine, Ancient Call, focuses more on pet stuff. Hunter's Animation, Hunter's Restoration also focuses more on like healing yourself as well as your pets. And down here you have things like Elder Branch giving you more spell damage and more totem spell damage, as well as Rotbane giving you more health for your totems as well and making your totems immune to poison damage. Now there is also support for low life Primalist. The Berserker node is pretty much exactly that. This is what, for example, the low life Druid wants to take, or maybe other like low life melee Primalists in general. That can be really nice. Here 5 points in Berserker would give you like what, 25% less damage taken and 100% more melee damage. So if you are having the gear ready for the like low life Druid, for example, this can be actually like really insane. You also have Ancestral Weaponry, focusing a bit more on like two-handed weapons like two-handed maces, two-handed axes and staves, giving you more melee damage depending on like which weapon you are using. The base skills of the Primalist include Summon Wolf, Ice Thorns, Fury Leap, Thorn Totem, Swipe, Tempest Strike, Maelstrom, and Upheaval. Other skills that you unlock from the base Primalist passive tree are Eterra's Blessing, Warcry, Summon Storm Crow, and Serpent Strike. Now the first mastery of the Primalist, called the Beastmaster, as the name suggests, is all about your primal beasts. It's all about your so-called companions. As a passive bonus, you get +1 to your companion summon limit, meaning you can have one additional companion, and also you and your minions deal 50% increased melee damage. So it is also kind of like for a hybrid playstyle, like if you want to play a hybrid pet build with yourself as well as your minions dealing damage, then Beastmaster is, I would say, a preferred mastery over, say, for example, a Necromancer, which is more about like only buffing your minions or like cursing enemies and like literally not ever like touching the enemy yourself. The Beastmaster also features one of the best damage mitigation on the Primalist tree. Your Silent Strength just has like 16% less damage taken from nearby enemies. This is especially useful if you're playing just like a melee Beastmaster, or also like any like melee Druid, like for example say a Swarmblade Druid or a Werebear Druid. Keep in mind that you can pick up all of these passives up to like 20, like what is this, tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like up to tier 5. You can pick all the passives even if you are not actually a Beastmaster mastered. You can always, as you can see here, like pick the first passives of all trees, no matter which kind of Primalist you are. Only the latter tiers, like the higher tiers here, as well as the higher tier skills, will be locked to the corresponding masteries. In the case of Beastmaster, Summon Frenzy Totem, Sabertooth, all these passives here, as well as the Summon Raptor skill. These are locked to the Primalist skill tree, like to actually like choosing the Beastmaster rather as a mastery, and the ones before that are available to any Primalist. On top of the Your Silent Strength, giving you damage reduction, also the Boar Heart, giving you up to 50% additional damage reduction for up to 2 seconds, as well as Boar Heart. I don't know why these are called the same actually. So this one also lets you allows you to activate aspect of the boar whenever you are hitting an enemy with a melee hit, and not only when you are getting hit. So these nodes here, as well as this node here, they're just like absolutely insane if you're playing like any kind of like melee character. Doesn't matter if you're Beastmaster or a Shaman or a Druid, I would probably always try to pick these up. Other than that, of course, the Beastmaster is mostly used for, well, companions, because it is a Beastmaster after all. You have some more companion dodge rating over here. You got some aspect of the shark, which is like a buff that gives like yourself as well as your minions more leech as well as more attack speed, which you can also, well, with this node give your companions. And then there are some other aspects, like aspects of the links as well, giving you and your minions like basically more crit chance whenever you use an active ability of one of your companions. I'll get into this in a second here. Also, this one gives you like aspect of the Viper, which is like more poison damage and attack speed. And then there are some nodes here that either limit all of your companions to only one, which makes you have like only one companion, but like one ridiculously strong companion. You can take Natural Bond as well as Arthur's Loyalty for that. Or you can also increase the companion maximum amount by another +1. So this way you will have, I don't know, like a crazy amount of companions, or basically, right? So you can either try to go for like one super strong companion, or like go for multiple a little bit weaker companions. But for example, if you have a helmet that converts all your wolves to squirrels, as weird as that sounds, that actually is a thing, and that is really strong to basically like swarm your enemies with like tons of squirrels, for example. So yeah, apart from this Frenzy Totem that is exclusive to the Beastmaster, that gives yourself as well as your companions like attack speed, crit chance, whatever you want it to be, like depending on like how you spec it, you obviously also get like to summon tons of different creatures, like for example a bear, a wolf, a raptor, a scorpion, or these storm crows. Each of these companions obviously has its own skill tree, and again you will have tons of options to like spec them to your liking, depending on like what kind of build you want your Beastmaster to become. Now the Shaman is usually less about strength but more about attunement stacking, and also the Shaman is basically your caster Primalist. You can of course also like still play a Shaman like more melee based or like totem based, but the general theme I would say is a totem caster. As you can also see from the passive bonuses, -5 totem mana cost, +10 attunement, and also +50% elemental resistances whenever you control at least one totem. Also, you get the Storm Totem as an exclusive totem, and you will have access to the Avalanche skill as an exclusive skill as well, which otherwise you will not be able to use. On top of that, also Tornado and Earthquake are in the skill tree of a Shaman. And in the passive tree you will find stuff that gives you like more attunement, more penetration, more health, shock, chill. It's pretty much all about like elemental damage, mostly like cold and lightning damage. And there is tons of stuff for totems, as you can see here. You look at totems. If you want to play like a totem caster, then this is basically like your mastery, your class that you want to play. And there is also like some generic like caster stuff and like more maelstrom stuff. So you're basically like becoming like the personification of a storm, but there are still like melee shamans you can play, maybe like with Tempest Strike, which currently is kind of terrible, don't play it, or like Upheaval for example, that works as well. Shaman is probably the next class to get like a slight rework for the passive tree, so I would say right now Shaman is probably like also in the worst spot out of the 3 masteries. So if you would like to play a Shaman but you also want to play a Druid or a Beastmaster, then probably postpone the Shaman until the actual rework that it's gonna get, hopefully like next patch, like next big patch like 9.1 for example, should be hopefully when the Shaman rework is here. So the Shaman will be like a lot more interesting once that patch drops than it is right now. Last but not least, the Druid. The Druid is pretty much your shapeshifting class in this game. The passives read, when leaving a transformed state you gain 70% damage reduction for 2 seconds, and also it has 20% increased health and mana. Honestly, just the 20% increased health alone is really like really strong, and if you want to play like any kind of like melee Primalist, then Druid is probably right now the strongest choice, because the things that you want from Beastmaster that won't make melee so strong are like already like early into the tree anyway, so you can get there even without like really you know, mastering the Beastmaster. So you should probably rather pick a Druid if you're playing like any kind of like physical melee character. The Druid also has the ability to transform, as I just said, like for example to a bear, right? The werebear has its own set of abilities, has like a warcry basically, a maul, and also this rampage ability right here, and then also the swipe attack. Now the cool thing about the werebear is, or like about any of these like transformations, that for example the roar scales with your warcry skill tree, the swipe with your swipe skill tree, the maul with nothing, and the rampage with nothing. But at least you have roar and swipe scaling with your swipe and Warcry skill tree. So whatever you put into like your actual swipe skill tree will also affect the the Werebear's swipe, and whatever you put into your Warcry skill tree would also affect your like Werebear's roar. Now there are two more transformations: the Spriggan, which has the abilities to summon vines like that, summon a healing totem like that, summon a thorn shield on either yourself or your allies, as well as the Spirit Thorn ability. The Werebear can also summon Spriggans, so you can be a Spriggan while summoning more Spriggans for more Spriggan action. And then, exclusive to the skill tree, you have the Swarmblade form as well as the Entangling Roots. So, for example, you could pick Spriggan form while being a Shaman or a Beastmaster, so you could like run around being a Spriggan while being a Beastmaster or a Shaman. It actually does make sometimes sense to play it as a Shaman for like a spellcaster. That actually works as far as I know. As a Beastmaster, I don't see Spriggan form being useful. Maybe summon Spriggan as a Beastmaster, that might be maybe interesting because it is like a companion, right? And then last but not least, you also have the Swarmblade form, right? This one makes you into a bug. This bug can summon hives that basically spawn locusts as well. And you have Dive, which is like a slash forward, right? Kind of like a cool dash. Really nice, actually really nice mobility here. Swarm Strike, like an AoE around you, and then just like your standard like arm blade slashes. Now this does not, as far as I know, like scale with any of the other skills, not like the Werebear. You cannot spec any of these to, you know, properly scale with your other skills. However, you can of course like check out the Swarmblade skill tree itself, and you could you can do like some kind of like AoE stuff, like consuming your like smaller bugs that you summon from the hives. You can use this as basically like very nice like cast on crit or like cast on hit procer because of all the like AoE this build has. And there are, for example, very popular builds out there that proc lightning whenever you hit something while being in like the Swarmblade form. So that can be like really strong. Check out the builds out there for example from Perry the Pig. I think he made like one of those like lightning Swarmblades that are currently like really strong in this patch. When it comes to the Primalist as a support for like, for example, your party, you have skills like Terra's Blessing that can heal allies, and also summon healing totems that also can heal allies. Pretty much almost everything that you can put down that also helps your minions, right? Like for example also the Frenzy Totem, right? This one can be really good for allies. Basically like search for allies whenever you want to like search for like nodes that are good for like for multiplayer basically, right? Everything that buffs your companions will usually also buff or heal your teammates. So that's pretty nice. For example, Thorn Shield from Ice Thorns you could also like cast on your allies, like as a thorn barrier. I would say the Primalist class overall doesn't have quite as many passives or actives, like nodes in the active skills that help out your allies for a party. It's not quite as like straightforward of a support character as say a Paladin. However, there are still like some really nice nodes in here, and some like CC or chill. Tons of like chill chance on Shaman as well, like slowing all enemies. So I would say like a Shaman or potentially a Beastmaster is still like really solid for like party play, because of all the buffs that you also give your companions. You again, as I said, like give your allies, and all the chill chance, all the other debuffs, or like the Warcry, CC as well can be really helpful for a party. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment if you would like to see more Last Epoch content here on this channel in the future. Also, thank you so much for everyone supporting me on Patreon, supporting me on YouTube as a member, or on Twitch with a sub there. And also a special thank you to HG for sponsoring this video. Thank you so much, and I'll see you around in Terra.